So again, welcome classes of 2032 and 2033. Of course, class of 2033, those are our young five Gators. Hopefully you can all hear me now. And I did mention that we have a number of our staff members who are joining us this evening. We have Miss Wolter and Miss Shapala and Miss Hool. They're all on board joining us tonight. We have Miss Gross is here. We have Miss Roberts, who is here as well. I see Miss Ashrafi. That means Alia is joining us tonight. And we have Mr. Crane, who's our gym teacher. I see Mr. Smith. Outstanding. Welcome, Mr. Smith. Miss Bolduc is joining. Welcome. So we've got some great family members joining us tonight as well. So again, I do apologize for the technical difficulties we had there. So going back, just an introduction to myself. I am Tim Podluski. I'm the principal at Yake Elementary School. Next year will be my 23rd year in education. It will be my 17th year in administration. No. Too many years in administration. My 12th year as the principal, so 16th year in administration, and my 12th year as the principal at Yake Elementary School. I absolutely love this school. I have three daughters. My oldest is a senior this year, and yes, she's a part of the class of 2020 that wasn't. But again, she's still excited. Spirits are up, and all three of my daughters went through Yake Elementary School. So again, hopefully, we're excited to tell you a little bit about our school tonight. Again, our school hours for next year are from 9:05 a.m. until 3:55 p.m. And our half days go from 9:05 till 12:10. And this is the tandem that makes up the best office staff in the district. We have Miss West, who is our secretary, and Miss Philippi is our student advocate. Anytime you call the office or come down to the building, these are the ladies who you will see or hear from. They take exceptional care of our Gators, and they will help you out as well. And again, we're fortunate to have them holding down the fort in the main office. At Yake Elementary School, this is our mission and our pledge at Yake Elementary School. Our Gators give and expect the best every day. And I see Miss Cosmides joined us. She's a member of our PTO board, she will be. And Miss Greer, who is our PTO president for next year. Welcome aboard. Our vision. At Yake Elementary School, we are goal-oriented achievers who take on challenges and opportunities to take risks and succeed. That is what our Gators do each and every day. And this is the all-star team that your Gators will be getting to know next year. Our kindergarten staff is Mrs. Bigeneau, Mrs. Shapala, and Miss Herbst. And our young fives teacher is Mrs. Hool. And they are going to take such great care of your kids. They're outstanding teachers, a wealth of experience among them. Even Miss Hool, though she's only been with us for a few years, she's been doing an outstanding job with our young fivers. So again, your Gators will be in great hands no matter whose class they are in. Just some things to talk about, just some tips for parents. Some real important things, questions you might have. Obviously, we're in a completely new era this year, and as we return to school, we're not exactly sure what that return will look like. I know there can be a number of options that we'll have on the table. Obviously, best case scenario is that the coronavirus goes away, and we're all able to return to school as normal, but we know that may not be the case. So there'll be a number of options out on the table, including remote learning as a full option for parents. Again, some things we're just discussing. And there's also going to be a possibility, perhaps, of going on an A-B schedule with kids attending perhaps on a Monday, half on a Monday, Thursday, the other half on a Tuesday, Friday, with a Wednesday being used to sanitize and clean the buildings. And the days that the kids aren't in school, there would be more remote learning. And again, that's just speculation, things we're going to be talking about, working on plans for the fall. We'll have plans A, B, C, and D, and we'll communicate as much as we can as we go. But obviously, the more time we have in front of with our teachers in our building, the better off we're going to be. But obviously, health and safety is going to be our top priority moving forward, as it always is. So things are going to change a little bit, and it's going to be really extra hard with kindergarten because kindergartners are going to be exposed to germs for the first time, and they do tend to get sick. As much as we want kids to be in school, we know it's going to be important for them to stay home when they're sick. So if they're not feel well, overall tiredness and listlessness, we'll want the children to stay home. Any child has a temperature over 100 degrees, again, they should be fever-free for 24 hours without medication before returning to school. if they have a continuous or severe cough. These are all reasons for the children to stay home. Runny nose, especially green or yellow mucus. Red eyes with drainage. Vomiting, keep home for at least 24 hours after the last episode. Diarrhea, keep home for 24 hours after the last episode. And any unknown infectious disease, unidentified rash or skin irritation until treated. So again, I know parents have always in the past, and once a child had to have an absence excused, you needed to have a doctor's note. We know in some cases, come next year, that's just not going to be the case. We can't expect you to take your child to the doctor every time they have a low-grade fever. So we're going to have ease our quite a bit when it comes to truancy, because we know in this case, our goal is kids need to, if they're in school, they need to be healthy. And if they're not feeling well, they do need to stay home. And that's going to go with all of our students and our staff as well. Health and safety are our top priorities. Classrooms are cleaned daily. Disinfectant with a disinfectant electrostatic sprayer. We have touch points that could be wiped down multiple times a day. Tiles, flooring will be washed daily vacuuming. We'll have hand washing campaign. We're really going to emphasize that throughout the day. And sanitation stations will be found throughout the building. And again, a big emphasis on washing our hands and staying as clean as possible. Again, we will continue to study and research the best products and practices to provide the safest and cleanest environment possible for our students and staff. Because again, the health and safety of all of our students and staff is our top priority. Now, here are the questions, and you're asking yourself when you're here tonight. Is my child ready for kindergarten? Kindergarten is not what it used to be. In the past, kindergarten focused primarily on the development of social skills. When we were in school, we learned to cut and paste and color and glue. That's not the same kindergarten that we have today. Now our focus is on the development of reading, writing, and math skills. And we all know that kindergarten is a big step. And a lot of our Gators are going to feel happy and excited and curious, sad and worried. And this is a big change for parents too, whether it's your first kindergartner or your last, and especially in light of the new environment we're in. It's definitely an interesting time for families. So we know it's a big change all around. Some literacy milestones, and just as a note, I will share this presentation. I'll post a link to it online for parents to see. You can go back and review any of these slides that you would like at another time. But just some things to note. The children ages 3 to 4 should be able to attempt to read and write, recognize common signs and labels. They enjoy listening to stories and are able to write some of their letters. Children at age 5, they should be able to retell simple stories, use descriptive language, connect letters to sounds, begin to write common words and phrases. And at age 6, they should be able to read and tell stories, develop some reading strategies, read and write on their own, read a few things aloud, decode unfamiliar words, increase sight word knowledge, and use some punctuation. These are all things they should be able to do by the age of 6, some milestones. So these are the things you need to keep in mind for next year. Entering kindergarten should be able to know and say their first and last names. They should be able to dress themselves, snap, button, and or zip their own pants or coats. They should be able to tie their shoes. And if they can't, at least for kindergarten, we'll want to have the kids begin with Velcro. Use the restroom properly without help and wash their own hands. Of course, I know we're all practicing washing hands properly as much as we can. They also should be able to separate from their parents without crying. And I know that is a struggle. Every year we have some who struggle to say goodbye. And you'll find that when we begin in September, we do let parents walk their children down. Well, again, that might change too, depending on what our circumstances are. As far as social spacing, there are a lot of things we'll talk about. But in the past, we've let parents walk the children down to wait outside their classrooms or outside the classrooms until through the end of the first week. And by the second week of school, they're saying goodbye to the children at the lobby and having them walk themselves down to the classroom. And there are tears, there's some separation, but we always have a phrase, this too will pass, and it always does. They'll be fine. But also, your little future Gators need to get used to being told no. And I know that can be a challenge sometimes as well. Entering kindergarten, students should be able to recognize their own printed names. They should be able to speak loud enough to be heard, speak in 4 to 5 word sentences, use crayons, glue, and scissors correctly. Hopefully these are things we've been working on. We've had lots of time during the stay at home. They should be coloring and pasting and using glue. The tablets are fun, but and again, that's not going to help us move forward quite as much. They need to be able to sit and listen while others are talking, share, take turns, and follow the rules. Entering kindergarten students should be able to recognize most letters of the alphabet, both uppercase and lowercase, in random order. That's important, just being able to say the alphabet. That's not it. They need to be able to recognize them in random order, and I'm going to explain to you why this is really important in just a few moments. They should be recognized numbers 1 through 10, also in random order. They should be able to hold a pencil correctly, write their own name, count to 20, name basic colors, and recognize basic shapes: circle, square, triangle, and rectangle. Remember, 10, 15 years, 20 years ago when we were in kindergarten, those were the skills we were learning in kindergarten. But again, now the expectation is these kids have these skills when they come in September. Kindergarten age. Since the 2015-16 school year, children must be 5 as of September 1st in order to be able to start school. Now we'll talk about a waiver, but that waiver truly is only for our Young Fives program, and I'll talk about that more in just a moment. Now Young Fives is offered as a full day option for kindergarten students with birthdays between June 1st and December 1st. Young Fives is a developmental kindergarten curriculum geared towards younger students who need extra time to learn and grow in a safe and nurturing environment. And again, we'll talk about more about the Young Fives program in a moment, and I can talk about both as a principal and as a father whose youngest daughter went through the Young Fives program herself. So some of the differences, Young Fives versus kindergarten in general. Young Fives both have full days. Young Fives and kindergarten. Young Fives have birthdays between September 1st and December 1st. And if they are, then that's when we need to have the waiver in place. For kindergarten, a birth date before September 1st. With Young Fives, we use a developmental kindergarten curriculum, but at a slower pace with an emphasis on basic skills and social emotional growth with afternoon rest time. And registration will be on a first-come, first-served basis. Our Young Fives program is a little more similar to the kindergarten that we remembered, except it is still more challenging than the ones that we remember as children ourselves. And of course, kindergarten, the emphasis is on the Common Core state standards for kindergarten: reading readiness, writing readiness, and numeracy skills. And we'll talk about some of these more difference between kindergarten, Young Fives versus kindergarten. And I'll just kind of go through the kindergarten ones. But they should be able to read sight by the end. They should be able to read sight words, 100 sight words, write 2 to 3 sentences on the same topic, using spaces, capital letters, punctuation. They should be able to read a level 3 to 4 book independently and be able to retell what was read. That's important. It's one thing to be able to just word call and read the words, but they need to be able to explain what it is they're reading. They need to be able to retell a story, identifying characters, identifying settings, make text to self connections, count to 100 by ones, identify 2D and 3D shapes, identify numbers to 20, addition to 10, subtraction within 10, and place values in the tens and ones. Those are all the expectations by the end of kindergarten. Now, at the end of Young Fives, we take that about halfway. So again, we're building on peer interactions and social skills. We're going to build independence and listening skills. We'll work on letter recognition and letter sounds, handwriting or fine motor skills, counting to 20 by ones, identifying 2D shapes, identify colors, identifying numbers to 10, writing first and your last name, reading 10 to 20 sight words, beginning to read a level A or 1 book, features of a book, retell a story, and begin to write a nice sentence. And just keep in mind, as we talk about this, we've had some Young Fivers who have just thrived, and they go well beyond a level A or 1 book by the end of the year, and they keep progressing. And that's a special part about what we do. In grades K through 5, Young Fives through 5, we do differentiate. We meet the children where their academic levels are. So if they move on from when they move from young fives to kindergarten, if they're already at a level 3 or level 4 in reading at the end of young fives, that's when they'll have their instruction received come kindergarten. And that's the thing we love about our young fives program. Those young fivers become the rock stars in our building because they become advanced. They do an outstanding job. Some more things about young fives in kindergarten. Just an example of the two typical schedules. They both have a morning meeting. Young fives will have calendar and phonics and the alphabet. A 60-minute center time with alphabet work, guided learning with Mrs. Hool, fine motor work, and dramatic play areas. They have handwriting and journals, 45-minute rest times, a story, math lessons with math centers, and a 40-minute free choice center blocks, house, art house, the dollhouse, the art, puppets, and etc. They'll have specials, the same specials that they have in kindergarten, and they'll have snack and recess. While in kindergarten, they'll have their morning meeting with a skill review, sight word work. They'll have writer's workshop, daily 5, which include reading to self, reading with a partner, writing, word work, and guided reading with the teacher, and that's where they'll receive their instruction at their ability level. They'll have a read aloud with comprehension, a 20-minute free choice center, because play is still important for our 5-year-olds. 20-minute free choice center. They'll also have specials in the afternoon, along with math, social studies, and science, and snack and recess. And we'll talk we'll kind of go through these quickly about the Read by Grade 3 overview, but that is the law. By 3rd grade, kids have to be at or within a year of being at grade level for reading. And that's based upon core reading instruction, assessments, and we'll talk about the IRIP in just a moment. And we'll go on from there. So again, this is something to think about. Which are you going to choose between the kindergarten and the young fives program? Things to consider are age. Does my child fall in the June 1st to December 1st birth date for young fives? Can my child complete the majority of entering kindergarten expectations? If they can't, then young fives might be a better choice. Is my child socially, physically, and behaviorally ready for kindergarten? That's a big question. Some of your kids might be ready academically, but they may not be there socially. Sometimes the youngest child in the family again, you get to know your child. Would a year of young fives give my child physical, social, and or academic advantages that will help prepare them for the rigorous standards set by the Common Core state standards? And think about that. Those children with the fall birthdays, those kids who are coming into school at 4, are they really ready to begin college at 17? Most of them aren't. Some of them are, but most of them are not. So we emphasize for young fives, give your child the gift of time. We have not once had a single, in our first batch of young fivers they're graduating, ending 5th grade now. We've not had one single parent come back and say they regret that their child was in young fives. Everyone appreciated giving their child the gift of time. Now, what will kindergarten be like? We'll have new friends, structure and routine, new settings and activities. They'll be learning focused based upon the Common Core state standards. We'll have reading, writing, science, math, social studies, independent work habits, working and playing in groups, and we are going to have lots of fun as well. We're going to explore our new world. A few years back, we had money to add a new play structure. We added a new play structure. It was designed for our little ones, and it has a fall height, no fall height greater than 5 feet. It's hidden in the back, and it's in excellent condition. It's designed just for our little ones. And there's our current Young Fives class right there. And there's Miss Hool, the Young Fivers. We do have circle time activities. There's Miss Bigeneau. Our Gators learn through play. In this case, you see them doing some guided reading with Miss Bigeneau. Because again, as I mentioned, wherever their reading level is, that is where they'll receive their reading instruction. We have lots of hands-on learning. Let's see, these Gators here, they're going into 4th grade next year, I believe. So they're getting kind of big on us. But there's Miss Herbst with her students. It looks like they're working on writing in this case. Now here's the extra fun part. We have our specials teacher, another all-star team. We have Mr. Crane, who's our physical education teacher. And I know it's early, but you can join him on his Yake PE Yake Gators PE. I'll have to double check what that is. But he posts lessons, even on Facebook, challenges for his Gators to do. So even our 4 and 5-year-olds, they can start exercising with Mr. Crane. We have Mr. Hecox as our computer and media teacher. We have Miss Cape, who teaches art, and Michelle is our fantastic music teacher. And they are a fabulous team that is second to none. So what can we do now, you're asking yourself? You can start helping your child prepare. Speak positively about school, even in light of the environment we're in. Build confidence. Set daily routines, so it includes lots of hand washing, especially coming in and out of the house, and before and after meals. Show your child that learning is fun. Teach your child proper hygiene. Make sure that they're washing their hands, and if they cough, and to still know how to cough and sneeze in their elbow. Coughs and sneezes will have whole different reactions come September. And again, make sure that you're reading to your child every day. And make sure your Gators see you reading as well. Reading for fun. Make sure that they see more than just mom and dad on their tablets and their on their phones. Set aside a time at night as a reading night. Again, those times especially. If you're not reading the same book, let them see you reading. Because remember, kids mock and what they see their parents do. Now, kindergarten screening. Some of you are still not sure whether young fives or kindergarten is the right choice for your child. We will have 2 screening dates. They'll be Wednesday, August 19th and Thursday, August 30th. August 20th for our entering young fives and kindergarten students. Our teachers will sit one-on-one to assess student skills to help with class placement. The screening will be by appointment only on site and will take about 20 minutes. And of course, we're going to practice social distancing when we get ready for the kindergarten screening. And again, we'll get a hold of you and let you know when you can start calling Miss West or Miss Philippi to begin scheduling your appointments. Kindergarten readiness assessment. I'm not going to go through this too far. This is an assessment that is given by the state. This will be the first time our kindergartners will be required to take this after the beginning of the year. And it is a developmentally appropriate assessment designed to measure school readiness of incoming kindergartners across 4 domains: language and literacy, mathematics, physical and well-being, and motor development. It's going to provide teachers with some baseline information to help differentiate instruction, understand a child's prior learning experience, and address learning needs. The teacher will gain a better understanding of the whole child because they are assessing over multiple domains. And it informs families about their child's strengths and abilities. And our teachers are all going through training based upon this new assessment this summer. They've already started some of it, but something they'll be prepared for. And it will provide some valuable information both to our teachers and for parents as well. Unfortunately, the test will come after we've already scheduled our kids, which is why we still want to do the kindergarten screening to give us some initial data to help make final choices on young fives versus kindergarten. And this is just some information about the KRA, the Kindergarten Readiness Assessment. Again, the 4 domains of mathematics, language and literacy, social foundation, and physical well-being and motor development. These are some of the areas that will be assessed. Now, getting ready for the first day. We're going to go over something you can do to help. Go over the safety rules. Write your child's name on everything in permanent marker. The first time you see our lobby that's filled with our lost and found is there, it's amazing how many kids lose backpacks and jackets and coats and one shoe. We even had one sock once. How we lost one sock, I will not understand. But again, it fills up fast. Not that you need to label your socks, but again, label everything with permanent marker. Make a routine, set a bedtime. Our 4 to 7-year-olds need to get 10 to 12 hours of sleep each night. Be positive and encourage your child to ask questions and share feelings with you at all times. Make sure that your child eats a healthy breakfast every morning. Our transportation is provided by Trinity Transportation. Bus routes will be posted around mid-August, and we will mail home postcards with your route information. The buses will be disinfected between routes, and again, student safety is our top priority. Food service is provided by Sodexo. They're an outstanding company. We've got just great people working for our lunch crew, and they provide breakfast and lunch and serve daily. They'll have kids have multiple choices, including a full salad bar and fruit that they can choose from as a part of their lunches. We do have free and reduced lunch opportunities for families as well. Now, again, we don't know what lunches will look like depending on how many people can be in any room at one time. We might move to having lunches in the classroom. And again, but those are all things that we won't know until we see what the recommendations come down as they're recommended by the state. But we'll get some more details as we get closer. Now here comes some fun slides, some more information about life as a kindergarten Gator. We play, learn, and grow together. And again, Yake Gators give and expect the best each and every day. Some things you get used to seeing. You'll see Mr. Sutton. He is he is a watchdog. He's been one for a long, long time. He'll greet you every single morning. And again, he's just an amazing human. I think his youngest grandchildren are going into they're going into ninth grade, and yet he is still here. We love Mr. Sutton. Ms. Canejo runs our media center. And I do need to date this slide, because those are all seniors this year. This Willie and Simon, yeah, that's funny. Got it up. I don't know, Miss Bolduc, if you're still on there. I think that's Simon back there, isn't it? And then we have Mrs. Glabe. She's our speech pathologist. She does an outstanding job with our students. We have Miss Tanana. She's our on-site social worker who does a fantastic job for our kids. We have safeties, and they will hold your hand and walk you to and from the bus, our Gators to and from the bus every day. Now, typically, at the end of the year, our fourth graders are trained in their safety positions. We did not have that chance this year, so our incoming fifth graders will have to learn within the first few days to get ready for their safety positions. But we will have those positions back up and running come the fall. And just to go back on that one really quickly, just so that you know, our kindergartners always sit at the front of the bus, and the kindergarten safety sits at the front of the bus with those kindergartners, and they do walk them from the bus to their bus lineup every day. Now, at the end of the day, we line up all the kids in the cafeteria. They're lined up there with me, with the kindergartners and young fivers up front, again, with the fifth grade safety up there with them, and the bus driver walks the kids and the safeties out to the bus each and every day. So they almost always make it to and from the bus safely. Every now and then we have a child who gets on the wrong bus, but the children are never actually lost, and that rarely happens, but we always find them. They get home safe and sound all the time. Now, as parents, how can you get involved in school? Yake is a special place not only because of the people. We have outstanding people, but our parents are fantastic. There are so many ways to get involved in our school. We have our Yake PTO, and again, we've had quite a transition this year with, I think, 3 changing board positions. We've had, since I've been here, we've only had 2 PTO presidents, so we're moving on to our 3rd in my time. That's going to be Miss Greer, who I believe is on here tonight with us. She's going to do an outstanding job on taking the reins of our PTO. Lots of fun things that they put on for us each and every year. Our Watchdogs program. We were the first school in Southeast Michigan to begin a Watchdogs program. We've been running strong with that program for the past 12 years, 11 years. And it's just been an outstanding program. We'll talk about that more in a moment, and our Motor Parents program as well. So again, we started our Watchdogs program May 17th of 2010. Hundreds of dads have come through our doors. And just to mark your calendars early, our Watchdogs Dads and Kids Pizza Night will be on Thursday, September 24th. That's actually my birthday. That'll be fun. That'll be Thursday, September 24th. We'll have our Watchdogs Dads and Kids Pizza Night that night. That is the night that the calendar goes up, and I'm going to warn parents ahead of time. You have to be there that night to get a date on the calendar. For the past 2 years, every single day on the calendar has filled by the time that night was over. Matter of fact, there was even a waiting list for some of the dads who came in late. That night, there weren't spots left. We were able to squeeze them all in, but that is the night the calendar goes up. I don't book any dates on the calendar before that night, but get there, book your dates. even if you're a rookie dad, you don't know what the Watchdogs program is, book a date anyway. We'll inform you about it, because if you don't get on the calendar, your Gator will ask you about it all year long. And these are some pictures of our dads who come in. They spend the day. They help keep our halls extra safe. They help with building patrols. They work in small groups with the kids in the classroom. They get their picture taken with their Gators. They have lunch with them, and then they help them outside at recess. And every now and then we mess with the dads, and we say that the kindergartners can yell, "Watchdog, push me," and watching them run from swing to swing, pushing the kids, they actually get a pretty good workout in. So again, it's an outstanding program. It's been thriving for years here at Yake Elementary School. Motor parents, parents and grandparents volunteer to help our young Gators and young fives in kindergarten build up both hemispheres of their brains through a series of kinesthetic motor skill building activities. Again, grandparents are outstanding when it comes to being some of our motor parents. These are just some examples of some of the motor skill activities the kids have been working on. Yep, that needs to be updated too. Those kids are going into 7th grade. Ways to stay informed. If you join the Yake, hopefully you'll be, if I have your email, you'll be a part of our Yake parent group. You'll have everything you get from me is sent via email through the parent group. We post them. We have monthly newsletters, our weekly Gator Bites, emails. If you don't receive messages from me so far, you can email me, and my email address is listed there. But we can access many great websites from our website at wbsd.co. Social media. We're big into social media. Many of you are watching on our Yake PTO Facebook page right now. We do lots of things on there. We post a lot of pictures, a lot of information. For those who are new to us, tonight is I do have a Wizard of Oz Wednesday, and I've been reading chapters from the Wizard of Oz to the kids. That'll actually begin at 8 o'clock tonight, and I believe it's chapters 21 and 22. We have 2 more weeks. The last 4 chapters we're reading this Wednesday, next Wednesday. And I think after that, I think we're going to read The Big Friendly Giant next. So again, if you tune in, like I say, and all the previous chapters, all the videos are posted on the website. If you want to go back and watch some of the previous chapters with your kids, you can. If not, join us in 3 weeks and we begin The Big Friendly Giant. But we're active on Twitter as well, at Yake Gators and the hashtag Yake Gators. And that's essentially a lot of information about Yake Elementary School. And again, we're all super excited to share, to welcome all of you, the class of 2033 and 2034, to Yake Elementary School. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to find out, I'm going to peek first to see who came online on Facebook so I can say hello to them now. Do we have any kids up there? See, Miss Nowak joined us. Hello, Miss Nowak and Miss Cosmedes. And Miss Greer. I see Mr. Lucas, Zoe and Zachary's father joined us. Miss Jonathan's mom is here, and Justin's mom is here. Miss Hart, Jackson's mom is here. Let's see, do I have any new kindergartners popping on board? Miss Snyder popped in. Mr. Williams, Miss TV Paw, our first grade teacher. Miss Murphy's here, Miss Mazer. Oh, the triplets, all 3 of them were in our Young Fives program years ago. Miss Cape joined us, and Mr. Brock as well. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Miss West, and we're going to open this up to any questions that parents might have. I know there's a bit of a delay between my speaking and what we're seeing on the screens. But I have one question that came in. Let's see, same absence policy for upper L also. The answer to that is, I can't say definitively what our absence policy will be like, but yes, we're going to have to, obviously, we're not going to send out truancy letters anytime soon. We hope that parents are doing the best to keep their kids healthy and safe and getting to school. But obviously, yeah, things are going to have to change. And we have a direct correlation between attendance and academic achievement. If kids have been absent for over 10 days, they tend to fall behind, which is why that's always been our barrier for when we start sending home truancy letters. But come next year, yeah, things are going to have to be a little bit changed. Now, if we do sense that there's an issue of negligence, then that's a whole nother story. But we know parents are doing the best they can, and the kids are just getting sick. And again, kindergartners get sick. They get belly aches and fevers all the time. And in the past, with the belly aches, we had, just let them rest for a little bit, give them some ice, send them back to class. But again, it's a different era now. So when these kids are sick, they're going to have to stay home, and we understand that. And we, of course, know you can't take them to the doctor every time. Do we have any other questions? Okay. So again, if there are any other questions out there, parents can post them. I'm looking on our Yake Elementary PTO Facebook page now. Or if there's anything else that's going to come through on YouTube, Miss West can see those. But if any questions I can answer, please let me know. But I am super excited to meet all of you. Some parents who have former students here before, there might be a question about popsicle with the principal. Things are going to be changing in that regards. We're now looking to do an open house before school begins. And in that case, that will kind of replicate, take the place of that. But again, those things are all up in the air depending on what happens with the guidelines from the state may be. But again, so there won't be a popsicle with the principal, but I definitely, depending how things go, I definitely want to read a story to the Gators, to my kindergartners, to start out the school year. So we'll see where that goes. Are kids going to be required to wear masks? Again, that's a good question. That may very well, and again, we're going to follow any guidelines given by the state or by the CDC. It just depends. Our governor has been following the state doctor recommendations quite closely. If that's what the recommendation is, that may very well be what we will do. I know that can be a little bit scary for kids. Hopefully, come September, they'll be a little bit more used to seeing people in masks. But yeah, we're going to follow the guidelines that come down from the state. Yes, our start time is going to 9:05, I believe. I'll confirm that, but I believe 9:05 will be our start time for the fall. Very good. Once you have pre-enrolled, if you've gone online, you've already pre-enrolled. If you have not yet, go to wbsd.co. You'll see the pre-enrollment link. Click on that. Go ahead and begin enrolling your child. Once your enrollment is complete, you'll get an email confirming that it has been completed, and we're still working on plans as far as to how to schedule times to drop off paperwork to the board offices. The board offices are located on Hall Road, right next to Patrick Henry Middle School. So that's still a plan that's in the process, but just stay tuned. Once that is available, they will send out Ms. DiMaggio. She'll be sending out for information about how and when that paperwork can be turned in. But the first step, again, go to wbsd.co, begin the online pre-enrollment process. She can go to kindergarten with a signed waiver. Again, there'll be a discussion you have. We'll be able to do our kindergarten screening, and we'll have some more information to go with, and we'll kind of get some better data from that point. And kindergarten may be a better spot for her, but at least after the screening, you have some data that can help you make an informed decision in that regards. The trains downriver. If you live downriver, you get used to the trains. And like I say, I would not obviously do our best to get our kids here on time, but truancy, attendance pieces are going to be a little bit. We're going to have to adjust to the new normal, at least until we're in a different place. I wouldn't worry too much about that for now. But obviously, the same thing. The more time the kids have with their teachers. And especially if we do go to an AB schedule, to where if the kids are only here 2 days a week, This can be really critical that they get as much of that time here as possible. So again, do the best you can. But yes, you got to love those trains, and hopefully, thanks to Representative Camilleri, we'll have that overpass or bypass coming on Allen Road at some point in the near future. But that it'll create some headaches, especially for us. But when it's all said and done, this could be a beautiful thing. That's all. Okay, well, with that being said, it was so nice to not really see you. I don't know if anyone else popped up here. I see Miss Andrade joined us here, but again, if I missed anyone, sure. Good question. We don't know exactly what champions are a before and after school program. And again, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Whatever restrictions we have with the classrooms, they'll have similar restrictions for champions before and after school care. I'm assuming there'll be a limited number of spots they'll have, and it would be just with before and after. If we go to an A-B schedule, would they be able to watch kids on the days that your kids aren't in school? The answer would be no. There wouldn't be a space to house them, at least not here. If Champions has an alternate plan for such opportunities for kids, that'd be for them to decide. But again, it's hard to speculate right now until we get a better sense of what things are going to look like come September. But as of now, there would still be a Champions program before and after school. That's another good the breakfast question. I am assuming we've our number of children receiving breakfast. We don't have a high enough number. We will still plan on assuming we'll still have breakfast, and we would still have it in the cafeteria. We would just spread the children out. Whatever guidelines there are for social distancing at that stage, whether it's 6 feet apart, whatever it may be, those are some of the guidelines we'd have in place for breakfast. So again, a lot of it depends on what the guidelines are at that stage. But we would have breakfast, and more than likely we would have it right in the cafeteria. I believe, unfortunately, as this stage, we do not currently have a GSRP program. I don't believe in any building in the Woodhaven Brownstown School District. We're hoping at some point, if we can look to expand on our elementary buildings to add classrooms, there may be a possibility for that down the road. But at this stage, we do not have a GSRP or a Head Start program currently in our school district. These presentations will be saved, and they'll be saved both to the Yake Elementary PTO Facebook page and to our Yake Gator YouTube page as well. But it will be saved and shared in both spots. And the slideshow that I went through, I will share that out. I'll share a link to that slideshow both on the Yake Elementary School web page and on the Yake Elementary Yake PTO Facebook page as well. You get a link to be able to go back and look at the slides again if you would like to. That's if we do continue an element of remote learning. And again, I know we've already had some discussions. There may be some families who choose they want to strictly go with remote learning. That's something we definitely want to have in place for families here. But yes, the laptops, the Chromebook checkout would still be a part of that process. I believe we have over 2,000 over 5,000 Chromebooks are currently in the hands. Over 2,000. Over 2,000. Over 2,000 are currently in the hands of current students. But yes, that's something we would have in place as we continue our remote learning for those families who could use that resource. 8:55 would be the earliest time we would have children dropped off to school. But again, these are all things that we're going to have some really. It's going to be interesting to see what that's going to look like, because obviously we can't have 50 kids in the lobby like we've had in years past. So those are things we'll have to discuss. We'll have some plans in place to figure out, whether we have spots marking where kids can stand, how far apart. Again, these are all things that we'll have to determine as we get closer to September. So, unfortunately, I can't quite give answers yet, but there'll be a lot of brainstorming going on between now and September. If we move to the AB schedule, that would not increase the number of students we'd be able to have here. The whole concept behind an AB schedule would be that we would have half the number of children in a class at one time. And we do cap our kindergarten classes at 25. And we cap our young fives at supposed to be 17, 16 to 17 for young fives. So in that case, if we went to an AB schedule, we'd have about 12 kids in each of the kindergarten classes. Now, another good question along those lines. So we wouldn't really be able to increase the numbers. The whole idea behind an AB is to cut down the number of kids in the classroom and in the halls at any time. One thing we will talk about too will be the use of manipulatives. That's something parents may want to consider, having their own set of manipulatives to send to and from with their kids in Ziploc baggies. The era of sharing manipulatives, that is probably something we won't be able to do come September. So there's going to be a little change in how we do our center's work. And again, it's unfortunate because sharing is a big part of kindergarten, but in this era, it's something we'll just have to, again, we'll have some more guidelines and suggestions in that regards as we get closer to September. Very good. And again, I don't want to go too far into that just because it's, again, we're going to start these planning discussions probably next week, the week after. But we would make sure that theoretically, alphabetically would make sense. But obviously, we'd want to make sure that parents have their kids on the same schedule. So if you have siblings, whatever schedule your children will definitely be on the same schedule, whether it's an A or B. You can count on that. Again, if we go with that model. Anything else? Well, again, it was a pleasure talking to you this evening. My email address, feel free to email me, call anytime you'd like. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'm thrilled to get to meet each and every one of you. It's when I usually start trying to learn the names of the kids tonight. Obviously, I can't do that, so I might need a little bit extra time to pick up the names of the kids in the fall, but I certainly will because there are Gators. We love each and every one of them, and we're excited to welcome them to Yake Elementary School. So with that being said, again, thank you for joining us, and I hope to see all of you in September. Take care and have a great night.